Welcome to another interview. This time we're at Fusion Worldwide. We're joined by two of the heavy hitters here, Toby Gunderman, Executive Vice President, and Paul Romano, COO. Thank you for having us.
Thanks for coming by.
Thanks for coming by. We appreciate it.
You two have become quite the experts on a current situation that has only worsened throughout 2018. There's been a shortage on specific components, mainly passives. And could you tell us a bit of the kind of developments you've seen throughout the year and where we're heading with this?
Yeah, I'll go. It's been a really tumultuous year. I think we're past the peak of the MLCC shortage, but it still seems like a rocky road ahead. But it actually took us by surprise, like I think it did a lot of other people. But we got caught up very fast in trying to provide the service and support and relief to our customers that they were asking for. We do think that the issues will continue. It seems to be moving more towards large case size, higher value components, and the smaller case size, lower value seems to be freeing up a little bit. But there's still a lot of uncertainty out there, a lot of opportunity for us, and a lot of issues for our customers, so we're trying to keep a read on it.
We've heard throughout the year numerous manufacturers making investments to increase capacity in everything. Do you see in the crystal ball that you have, which it probably isn't clearer than anyone else's, but do you see these moves being enough to take us out of this hole that we're in currently?
It's tough to say. I mean, we obviously are not in those meetings with the manufacturers to know what their plans are to create factory space and increase their fab space. But I think that it probably, we have no idea. We do continue to see a growth in demand and an expansion of the industries that are using these components and expanded demand across a ton of different business verticals. So whether or not the production can keep up with that is more a question for the manufacturers, but it seems like at least in the short term that it's going to be a while before they get caught up.
Yeah, we see a tremendous amount of demand on the customer side. If you think about all the different industries that are now using multiple different capacitors, it's really pushing demand hard. Automotive, Internet of Things, big data, industrial automation have all come in, and the amount of usage has gone so far up. So as that usage continues to grow, it's going to create more and more pressure on the producers of the product, and you don't know if their capacity is going to be able to keep up.
As you say, there's been a huge influx in demand, and the pressure is on the manufacturers, but there's also pressure on you guys to be able to serve your customers. And as an independent distributor, what kind of pathways do you have to take to navigate this space now to be able to actually supply your customers with what they expect?
I mean, I think what they expect from us is just honest service and attention to their issues or attention to the problems that they come to us with. So we use our sourcing expertise to try to present them with as many options as we can come up with. We're not always the good news providers. Sometimes our options and solutions are a higher price than they expected or a smaller quantity than they expected, but at least they can expect an honest answer from us with a picture of what we can offer and what's available out there. Obviously, they always have the choice of not buying from us, but I think in general they've been relatively satisfied with the product we've been able to find that they're having issues with.
Usually when we have a shortage of whether it's a passive component or an active component, processor or whatever, we see a spike in counterfeits. How has it looked this time specifically with the MLCCs here and passive components? Do we see an increase of the counterfeit market taking or trying to take more space here?
Yeah, I mean, anytime there's a shortage in product, the counterfeiters are going to come out because they're looking to try and make money off of the situation that's occurring. So there's absolutely a counterfeit issue, and we've been able to navigate that really, really well. Everything we buy on the passive side comes strictly from authorized distribution, so we don't have any issues. But again, there are a lot of issues out there.
If I'm going to play devil's advocate here, even if you buy from an authorized source, there's still that space from that source over to you that might be in jeopardy. Do you take any extra precautions, even though you're buying from an authorized source, to make sure that this is actually what we ordered?
Oh, absolutely. We have a complete inspection and lab process that we take every receipt through. So even though you're right, even though it's coming from an authorized source, it still has to be inspected. So everything goes through our inspection process.
We've just gone over a set of issues that 2018 has brought upon the world, and a lot of it has been dealt to the distributors. I kind of don't want to ask this, but how has 2018 been for you guys?
It's been very good. I mean, obviously, gaps in the market, gaps in the supply chain create opportunities for us. Those have been abundant, and so the opportunities have been abundant for us. Our numbers reflect that. Some of our growth reflects that. So it's been very good. But we don't necessarily measure our success by by profit or by revenue. We measure it by the strength of relationships that we're able to create and our growth internally with different offices and our exposure to the market. And we feel like we've been very successful with those growth strategies. We've expanded our customer base tremendously, and we've been able to help out in a lot of the shortage situations. But the short answer to your question is yes, it's been a very good market for the independent distribution space.
And this kind of market has brought a lot of different and new customers into our market because they've never had to deal with this before. And so we've been able to help those customers greatly as well too.
Following up on that, the new opportunities that you've been able to acquire or service, really, where are we going now into 2019? Are we going on a really stable footing here, or are we still going to handle uncertainties going in as well?
Our crystal ball, again, is not as clear as anybody else's, but no, I think it's a rocky road ahead. I mean, I think the M&As from the years past and that are continuing, I think the continued growth of IoT and the explosion in the automotive space, and the growth of business sectors that are using technology, along with unstable supply and new issues like tariffs and trade wars and Brexit and so forth are going to lead to some incredibly uncertain times.
And on that cheerful note, I'm going to thank you for the interview and wish you the best of luck in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming by. We appreciate that.